Well, hello guys, my name is Nick from Nickstoygarage, and today a very special car. It's the Iso Grifo. The car originally came out in real life in 1965 and was produced until 1974. It had an all-American Ford or Chevy engine and was to compete with the great Ferrari and Maserati at the time. The styling was done by Bertone. And the Matchbox version actually came out in 1968 in the 1 to 75 series. It also was a variant from 1969 to 1970, and then my variant from 1971 till 1974 is the Superfast 1 till 75 series. If you guys like this little talk about the car in real life and the actual backstory, please let me know in the comment section down below. Now, as you can see, the car has had a rough life. It has been sold on a yard sale before, I think, because there's still a €1 tag on the front of the car. I'm not the one that bought it for €1, obviously, so I don't know when this car actually hit the yard sale scene. At this point, I'm taking apart the car. One rivet in the back with my little drill and then my handy dandy screwdriver to pry open the base. This is a super fast spring design, so there are actually two more rivets holding in the little plastic spring and also the wheels. The interior with the towing hook, the glass, which is broken, come right out. Then you have to remove a metal spring to that holds in the doors, and then you can see the two rivets, one in the front, one in the back, that holds in the little spring. Again, take my handy dandy screwdriver, pry open a little bit, and then the spring just comes right out. The wheels and tires, the axles actually just come right out. They're just snapped into the little plastic piece. Just be careful that you don't snap the plastic tooth off. Then, my favorite thing, my sand blasting cabinet. An easy model takes about 30 seconds to 45 seconds, not really sure, never timed it, to get every single bit of paint of this car and obviously of the doors and the base plate. The base plate was unpainted, but I'm going to give it a color so I can need to take the, well, kind of corrosion off. That's been on there for the last, I think, 50 years. Wow. Next, let's take it out. You can see the model, you can see the doors just fly off, obviously. And then you can see there's a little bit of paint left in the crevices, so I take my dental pick. Someone in the last episode said I need to name my dental pick, so if you have names for the dental pick, let me know in the comment section down below. Let's take my dental pick and remove the largest part of paint and then go on for a primer. For a primer, I will be using a fine surface primer by Tamiya in grey, doing 2 coats in total, even between, well, 5 or 10 minutes for the first coat to dry, and then about half a day to a day for the last coats to dry. When that is all set and done, I just put it aside and take my doors, and I get the same coat of grey primer. When that's all dried, I take my TS41 blue and just spray it. This is the closest I had to the original color. I think it matches pretty well, and I'm really happy with results. Doing 3 coats in total, again 5 to 10 minutes for the first couple of coats, and half a day to a day for the last coat to totally harden out, so I can detail the car after. So when that dries, again, the doors get the same coats of blue inside and out, obviously. Next, I take my red marker and paint in the rear lights. This is actually, I was lying before, the sandblaster is my favorite step of the restoration. It's the detailing, because I just love putting the details on this car. Originally it didn't really have details, I think, but putting on these slight little details just make the car come alive. When that's on there, I take my toothpick and I just orange up the blinkers in the back. And then I take the other side of the toothpick and white the number plate, because in Belgium number plates are white with red lettering. I didn't do the red lettering, obviously. Next, I take the doors and my chrome liquid marker to paint in the door handles on both doors. And as you might see, I forgot the blinkers on the front, so that's for a later bit in this video, don't worry. When all the details have dried, I just put 1 coat of clear coat on it, again leaving it half a day to a day to totally harden out. Next, let's take some hot soapy water, take the dirty white interior and just clean it up really nice. I decided to go with a minimalistic restoration, so that means no painted interior, just as it rolled off the factory line in 1971 to 1974 from Matchbox, just a little bit more detailed. When everything is cleaned and dried, I take the wheels and axles. They were in pretty good shape, but I just improved them a little bit. And, well, as you can see right there is you know what kind of hair on the rear axle. Disgusting, but oh well, it's been probably held in there for the last 40 years, but I removed it, I disposed from it, I looked like I had the gloves on, and I burned it alive. Well, it wasn't really alive. Next, I take my black marker to paint in the wheels, and then take my chrome paint to paint in the bottom plates. So these are all the parts freshly restored and done. As you can see, the windshield is still broken, so I just take out my new windshield from my little bag of windshields and yeet the other one away. Next, it's time for the final reassembly. First, a tow hook, I think it's an American, well, the engine is American. A sports car, doesn't matter where it's from, doesn't need a tow hook. So, snipping it off, placing in the new windshield, then placing in the new, well, the doors actually. And this is a little bit fiddly, you don't want to damage the paint obviously, but you have to get the, well, annoying spring in, which is quite a hassle sometimes. So I just put the doors in, and then I just slide in the spring, so the doors will open and close, and obviously stay closed on their own. Next, I take the interior goes back into place, just like that, and set it aside for just 1 second. Next, let's take the wheels, axles and tires and pop them back into their correct spring. Just snap one in the front and snap one in the back. Then take the base plates and just put them back into place. And because, well, the rivets are drilled out, I just take a little bit of super glue and glue them back in place, so they will be spring again and never will come out. Last step is just to snap in the base again, so just put in the front, where the headlights are located, just like that. And then finally just snap in the back and super glue it back together. One more final step obviously is to do the front blinkers that I forgot, which I mentioned earlier. And that concludes this restoration. Let's take a look at it before the restoration, when there's still a broken windshield, dirty paint and the yard sale sticker on the front. And let's take a look at it after the restoration right now. Thank you very much for watching, hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I hope to see you, obviously, in a future video next week. And also, a very special thanks to every single one of my Patreons. Bye.